Oh boy, here we go again. Number 36. Coming in hot, down in the books, or whatever. You know what the fuck I mean. So this one, I'm just going to do the whole way through. Let's go ahead and start off with getting ourselves a nice pour going. Another Tav Hour submission, I should say. Well, I guess it's not really a submission because it's just shit that I buy, but I'm submitting to you. This time we've got from Heistbrewery. It's the Pacific Thunder. Not to be confused with Tropic Thunder. Tropic. Great movie. This is a hazy India Pale Ale. Let's see. Government warning. Don't care about that. 6.8%. That's going to be good. Double dry hopped hazy IPA with Citra, Strata, and Nelson Sauvin. Those are types of hops. Which that's just a whole world that I don't know anything about. Keep cold, drink fresh, and recycle. We recycle around here. That's what we do in California. So let's go ahead and get this pour going. Oh yeah, that was nice. And it definitely had... Oh, that's not bad. That, for an IPA, that's very, not bitter. At all. I didn't get any kick out of that at all. Or... no zip to it. Anyways, got our nice drinking horn. Valhalla Vineyards, thank you. Thank you for existing on Amazon. Ain't nobody sending me shit yet. So let's see what this stuff actually looks like. Oh, yeah. That is a hazy beer for sure. You know, I never thought I'd admit it, but I guess I kind of am starting to get into IPAs a little bit. Still sparingly, though. I mean, if I'm out and about, you know, it's going to be just like a lager or a light beer for me. Or usually if I'm trying to be, I want to say sophisticated, but yeah, we'll go with sophisticated. If I'm trying to be sophisticated, it's going to be a dark beer, which I've already said before. I'm a big fan of brown ales, which those are made with, I think it's usually made with like hazelnut or something like that. I remember a while back we had a bar, missing bars. We had a bar open up down on one of the main drags up here in the valley. That's the San Fernando Valley for anybody who's not in California and has no idea what I'm talking about. Also the setting for the Cobra Kai series, which, you know, all that is kind of around the area where I live in. Except there's no karate schools aren't all that around here. I don't know anything about the 80s though, which was the background for that movie. Again, another world I have nothing to do with. What the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah. So we had a bar. It's a place. It's still there, fortunately. They've been hanging on. They did food, so they were able to. They had a little bit of outdoor seating for a while before everything closed down again just now. Fuck. Okay, I remember. Back on track. I had a bit of a gummy situation already, so I'm already feeling that. I did that on purpose. I wanted to start kicking in while I'm doing the show. But it was a place called The One Up, shout out. And it was like a video game bar, right? But they had like old Atari and like OG arcade stuff. And like an old arcade Mortal Kombat as well. But they for a long while when I was there, one of the beers on tap, because this was like any other bar in California, it's like all craft beer, right? And then of course they have, bottles and cans of the regular shit, but a non-sports bar. But one of their normal taps was they had a nut brown ale from Rogue Brewery. Oh, that was I'd never had a brown ale before, but this shit was good. I mean, it was a nice dark brown, but it was a lot sweeter than a beer normally is. It wasn't bitter at all, and it tasted like hazelnuts. So kind of imagine like a bit like a liquid Ferrero Rocher, or however the fuck you call them. Those like the hazelnut treats where they're wrapped in gold and they're in like the little cupcake thing, and you get them in a sleeve of 3. Those ones. All right, so I got my full pour that is hazy as fuck, and it's gonna go inside of me starting now. Nothing like I even had a little bit of beer mustache. Dude, I don't know why, for some reason it, never mind, I lost my thought. It's true what they say about pretty much every video on YouTube. Whether it be, don't read the comments. Whether you be scrolling through your, favorite video, your favorite show, podcast, whatever. All you see as you're looking through is, things like, oh, why do they talk about this? Why do they talk about that? I don't like this guest. I don't like that host. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Well, to which I say, get your own show. And now, with Buzzsprout, you can. It's that easy. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides hosting not only on their own site, but also on pretty much every other podcast platform out there. Every single major one. Get yourself listed in iTunes, Pandora, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. I'm on all of these with this podcast, as a matter of fact. And Buzzsprout, it provides a bunch of other services too. Not only just hosting, but indefinite hosting. So whatever you put on there, if you have a subscription, it's there until the end of time, or at least until the power goes out. Buzzsprout also provides you with avenues of monetization, be it through affiliate programs, kind of like this, and also through Podcorn, which is a sponsorship portal where you can go on and provide your submit your proposals and hopefully get money that way. And a new feature that Buzzsprout has is magic mastering, which is a auto leveling you can apply to your audio files as they go into the service, and it'll help you get all the little clicks and the pops out of here, which I know I have going on in mine still. And it's also helpful for situations where you have more than one person, or maybe you're doing a show over Zoom or what have you. Magic mastering helps with that. And if you're listening to my show, if you go to the bottom of the show notes and use my link, you can start a subscription with Buzzsprout today. Furthermore, if you're using my link, you will also get you will get an Amazon gift card after your second billing period. So, I win, you win, everybody wins. I'd say, if you got something to say, go ahead and say it. Use Buzzsprout, get your own podcast today. So, some housekeeping. This weekend, obviously you're listening to this, or this week, I should say. Next week, there will not be an episode. I am on my way out, or I'm going to be flying out of here in a couple weeks, or in a day from when you're listening to us. It's Monday night, very late Monday night, I should say. It's already 3 a.m. for me. Ugh. I wanted to do this earlier, but, things. I'm also trying to crank out another paint booth episode just so I have a nice buffer, because I am going to be out of town for about a week, and that's including like all through the weekend. So I just decided this time I'm not even gonna try to get anything. Last time that I had the whole deal where I was out for a weekend and I thought I wasn't gonna be able to get a show in, well, this was the only thing I was really doing at the time. So like it wasn't really a big deal. But now that I have my other shows that I'm doing on this little network here of mine, it's a little bit harder, and nah. Yeah, actually, we're getting to the point, too, in the, with everything being closed down again, like, I haven't really gone out and been able to do anything. I kind of running out of shit to say, a little bit, but things are going to be getting different, though, because coming into the new year here, I'm still figuring this out, but, well, it's not just going to be me on here. You're going to be dealing with more than just me pretty soon here. That's all I'll say, because, again, I'm trying to figure it out. It's probably going to be mostly all camera to camera or whatever over like some software, because, well, I mean, obviously nobody can really go anywhere right now, and setting up for like in-person multiple people for a podcast, well, it's a little bit of money, because I gotta get I need better cameras, because right now I'm just running off webcams. I need to eventually be able to afford like an actual camera or two. Well, definitely two. And then I also need like a one of those Zoom recorder things with a multiple microphone inputs. And actually, I want to get the big one that they have. It's like an 8-channel or an 8 input, and then it also has like a little screen control type of deal on the device itself, which I think will also include a soundboard, so we can get like some nice like maybe I can pop off like some fanfare sounds and gunshots and all that cool stuff. What? Oh, and then I would also need a live switcher, which is probably the most well, actually it's not that expensive. I found one that was only like $300, but that's still a pain in the ass for me, especially because I got some more bills coming into the new year. That's not you. You guys aren't boring. I'm just tired. I've been up for a while. Anyways, the point being is, podcast is growing. It's only been my first year, and I mean, this is really the first, this network is like my first project or whatever, as like a solo entertainment type of deal. So, and I mean, I'm in my 30s. I've seen like all the movies, I've seen all the behind the music and all that bullshit. So I know that, things take a while to really get off the ground. And as I've mentioned before, actually my first plan was to try and get into stand-up, which I'm not. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not. I like my chances, is what I meant to say, because, this sounds like I'm, sucking my own dick, but, in general, I can be a very funny situational person. And I mean, obviously, I understand, and part of the reason that I realized that like I could try and get into stand-up was it was one of those things. It was not at all a plan. That was not a thing going on here like a couple years ago even. But then eventually what was it? And really all I really knew about stand-ups were like who I saw on Comedy Central, basically, because, you know, growing up, I didn't have HBO. Like, my parents bought it, like, after I was already out for college and all that stuff. But yeah, like, all I would see is just, like, who's on Comedy Central. So I never caught wind of any of the people that were on HBO or on Showtime and stuff like that. And then, of course, now... Well, what happened is my roommate actually turned me on to podcasts. Here we are, a little while back, and starting with the Chris D'Elia show, you know, rest in peace, or whatever. Not really. He's not resting. And you know what I mean. I'm still a fan, so hopefully we'll see more of him again sometime soon. But anyways, so that's kind of where I started off with. Wow. That shit is kicking in. I can't even speak already. Or look at the camera straight, apparently. But anyways, so yeah, I started off with the D'Elia show. And that eventually kind of branched out into other podcasts. Which I like to explore around and stuff. And then eventually getting into more like the New York scene and some of those shows. Which I'm also a big fan of quite a bit. I've mentioned some before here. But, what was I going to say? But yeah, through listening to those podcasts, you know, I kind of learned, because they talk a lot about, like, the LA comedy scene. Fuck, I even said that weird. The LA comedy scene quite a bit. And, you know, because the thing is like, I never had any idea, like, how, you know, entry into that industry, or, well, not really industry. You're not making any. Well, yeah, you are making stuff. But into that field worked. I had no idea. And now I do. So, it's like, oh, you know, this is something I can do. But, I don't know. It was still, well, I mean, it wasn't really, I didn't get the idea for it until... Well, a little after my dad passed away at the end of 2018 here now, and like it was kind of, it was the back of my mind type of thing, trying to get into stand-up. But whenever that happened, you know, among other things, it became a front of my head type of deal. Because, well, not only, also during that time, because I knew a couple other guys I know. Well, one other guy I know actually started doing that himself a few years prior, I think. And this was a guy who I knew through playing Warhammer. I got up here. And he actually quit that to pursue comedy. Which I don't know if we really had to do that. But, I mean, hey, you know, that's this thing. Singular focus, but I did, because he was also occasionally on a show that started up at the local bar that I normally go to. Which again, missing there. Shout out to the Other Door in North Hollywood. Or is it Burbank? I don't know. It's like right on the edge. I don't know where like city limits end. Really, just sort of like a general area. I mean, yeah, there's signs, but in the valley, they're not big signs. It's not like whenever you cross into Beverly Hills while on one of the main streets. There's the huge fucking interstate sign that says Beverly Hills on it. You know. And also, it goes from, you know, city to houses surrounded by grass and like 20-foot tall hedges that I definitely can't afford. So, you know. What I don't know is what I was before that just now. Oh yeah, so no, I ended up catching my buddy's act, or not act, set a few times at my local bar, and then I kind of, I watched and I got to learn, and then so that's whenever like the seed was planted for me. And then my dad passed away, and I finally like, you know what, I had all the regular bullshit type of things that everybody had, like, oh, you only lived once and life is precious, yada yada yada, just do your dreams and all that shit. But I mean, yeah, it's real. It's like the gayest fucking thing I could ever say, but it's real, right? And I don't mean gay in a bad way. Whatever. You know what the fuck. I'm from the Midwest, all right? Fuck you. You're listening to me, not the other way around. But yeah, so I finally said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. So yeah, I started figuring out like exactly how getting onto the show worked, which the ones in question, they were just open mics, so it was just, put your name in a bucket. And also I started listening more about through listening to podcasts, I learned more about like joke structure and how things work that way, and then kind of more about like the business side as well too. So I mean, like, in a way you are kind of on your own, but there's definitely like a better community about it nowadays. Of course, everything's, turned around on its head because of COVID, which is actually part of the story later. But so anyways, I said, you know what, I am going to try and do standing comedy. And then about 65 days later, I finally put my name in that fucking bucket. It took me a little bit, because I could never, I always felt like, oh, this is never good enough, right? Whatever I'm writing, like, this sucks. I'm a bit of perfectionist with my writing and stuff, because, I am still kind of about public speaking. But, I'm still determined. And this is also why I feel like I like my chances in this, is because, I am a bit of perfectionist whenever it comes to, artistic and writing stuff, really. So I feel like I won't have to, I'm not going to be like the type of person who, goes up there like I'm learning to speak English for the first time. I'm not going to go up with something until it's been, hammered and polished to near perfection, as far as I can tell with my own perspective, right? So, like, I feel like whatever I put out, I at least have that advantage, and that did end up working to my advantage. So the first set I did, with being hosted by like a friend of a friend, cool guy. I got laughs on my first set, and he even came up and told me, and like I'm not the kind of guy to normally be like like looking for advice all the time. I feel like I'm pretty good at learning things through observation rather than first-hand trial and error. But I mean, my boy even said to me, like, hey, there was a lot of stuff that was like just right there, right on the cusp, and definitely I remember the comment that I got was, I was very kept interested in what you were saying. Like, I could see the path that you were taking in all your things. So that told me that, I know what I'm doing here. So, like I said, again, I like my chances. I just gotta wait for everything to reopen again, because there's no fucking open mics anymore. I think the only one that I was able to find, which actually I found a lot, but, like I said, with gyms before, like as far as like comedy programs, the first person that they forget to bring back is the fucking whoever's running the website. Because there's a lot of stuff that says like, oh, this mic's open, this mic's open, this mic's open. But no, they're not at all. There's nothing there. And definitely not now. Everything, all that is gone. There's no comedy going on in California. Anyway. What was I going to say? So, yeah, there's only 2 places that I saw. And, well, maybe not. Oh, it's just going to be 1 now for this reason. But, the main comedy club over in Burbank, Flappers, they've been hosting, apparently, like a virtual open mic where you just zoom in from your home. But I just got to wait. Right? I got to wait and try and build up, when somebody's actually listening to me. I can't do it in the screen that well. Or like if I was like a veteran, maybe at it, like I would at least know what I'm doing there. But right now, just starting out, no way. So, and I ended up doing a total of about 4 sets. 2 of them were okay. Included that first one. And then I had a couple sets that, I bombed, quite frankly. But the thing is, like, I never got that, this isn't like a statement of overconfidence, but I never got like that, my life sucks type of moment. And I think part of that is because, I'm not, like, I have other things going on for me, like, I have work, I make money, I'm, like, okay in life. I'm obviously not, eating with a silver spoon or anything like that, but, like, I'm okay, so, like, it didn't, wasn't, it didn't impact me like that in such a way that I'd be dissuaded from, doing the thing that I'm trying to do. And I, fortunately, again, I'm not sucking my own dick here, but fortunately, I am, smart enough to, learn from whatever mistake I may have made there, which, I guess mistake's kind of a strong word, because it's really more, learning to see, like, what hits and what doesn't, as far as stand-up wise. And then, you just learn from there, like, hey, maybe I take a word out here, I take this out, I add something in here, yada, 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 and then boom, you got a great thing. God, I'm getting, like, crumbs in my throat or something like that. But anyway, all that's on hold for now. But the plan was, because a lot of the podcasts that I listened to, these were from comedians who already built themselves up, and at least with, like, the LA ones, were all famous. Like, they'd all been on TV or whatever. So, and I'm not gonna be a name dropper. If you know, you know. I don't have any of that, and I know the thing is, like, this is fine, but it's hard to reach other people because, like, I don't have anything else to my name, like, as far as, like, solo entertainment wise at all. They already had, things like I said, TV shows and specials and just years of being on tour, basically. So, and I was already finding out about all of this in a time where podcasting, it's kind of at its peak now, definitely. But so I knew the game was, the stand up is to do because, like, I do want to do that too, but it's also, it's a good vehicle for promoting yourself in whatever else you might be wanting to do, and in this case would have been the podcast. But, unfortunately, everything's closed down now, and when the pandemic hit, I was like, you know what, I got to do this, right? So I bought a bunch of the equipment off Amazon, and about a couple weeks later, that was episode 1. Just go back and listen to it or watch it. I still have it here. I have everything hosted indefinitely right now. I'm not doing like only available for a certain time type of BS or nothing like that. Ooh. All right, I'm starting to taste the bitterness and the stuff, but so I guess my story of comedy before it even happens is it's really more of an egg came before the chicken type of story, which is not the first time I've used that line either. Obviously. So, now you guys may remember, funny thing I had to bring back just for this episode because I was out getting some snacks for my overnight shift this past weekend here, and I ran into these guys again, the fucking Rancheritos. You remember these? What was that? Episode number 14, I think. So, now the reason that I like these. Obviously, here we go. Crunch alert. Nom nom nom. What? Okay, that took a little bit longer than I thought it would. The reason that I ended up getting this bag, aside from flavor, is they felt the need to have to sticker on everything in English. So technically, they're saying in English that these are literally, the name of these are spicy tortilla chips, and that's what they are. That's not what they're called. Oh, and then of course they got a big old sticker for all the nutritional facts. Yeah. Ooh, here we go. Serving size 1 ounce, or about 11 chips. And they're saying that there's only 6 servings in this container. There's a lot more, definitely. Unless it's like a chip and then it's been cut up into pieces. But no, that's bullshit too. Anyways, yeah. So got a little Rancheritos action going on. I'll put these away. I just wanted to get a little something in here while I'm sipping on this. So anyway, one thing we can do while we're here is get into a little post-apocalypse. We all like that. So I got some articles for your asses. Might also sneeze again. Or cough. Oh, bear with me. Alright, first up. This one's exciting for me. Daredevil Netflix series rights revert back to Marvel, and fans are demanding a revival. So, well, you guys should know. Fuck, I'm getting it. But a while back, Netflix, well, they gave the rights to Netflix for Daredevil to do, well, for a season. So there's a whole Netflix show a whole Daredevil show on Netflix. It's really good. But and then they eventually did they also gave them the rights to do Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. And then later also The Punisher. But this was all before Marvel joined up with Disney Plus. Actually, before Disney Plus was even released yet. So when they did, they basically killed everything that they had on Netflix. Which sucks because, I mean, they were good shows, but I guess now the rights are going back over to Marvel to do with what they want. So everybody's hoping that a lot of these series are gonna, either come back or maybe even just keep on from where they started, or also get enrolled into the Marvel Cinematic Universe officially and correctly. And I don't have this article, but I did also see there was another article where Vincent D'Onofrio, who was he played the Kingpin, that big guy. He's apparently also, kind of fighting for the show to come back as well. And I mean, yeah, obviously it's because he's in it, so there is that. But I completely lost my train of thought. Anyways, so there you go. Marvel's getting Daredevil back. Hopefully it'll be a good thing. Hold on. Alright, next up. System of a Down's Chopsuey hits 1 billion views on YouTube. And this was on 27th. So they... And well, I know part of the reason for this article is that they finally got back together for a little bit and put out a couple of news. So obviously everybody's going back to Chopsuey. So that was kind of like the that was the OG big hit of theirs back in the day. God, I remember that shit came out. It was wild. Also, it was interesting because, I still remember back then, I was in high school, and, I didn't really know what the band was about, because, I didn't even know what the hell an Armenian was at all. So I didn't know that all their shit was about the, Armenian genocide, pretty much, and just culture in general, history-wise. But which is also actually the subject of the two new tracks that they released. Is that, this came out with the advent of the Armenian and Azeri war that's taking place right now. Actually, when all those countries are supposed to be in a truce, an armistice, but it's just going down. I'm too high to really get into the semantics of it. Actually, my problem is that I can't really speak that well once it starts kicking in, as you can tell. I'm trying to keep from drying out too. Let's go on to the next one. Conservative insiders say Republican politicians aren't scared of Trump now. They're scared of his supporters. He's got some wild supporters, as you all know. I know this article wasn't too far back, but I mean, I could see that because, I've heard this said on other podcasts, but we're in a time now, or this election is very much different from, previous elections, because I think up until now, this is the first time that there isn't an official recognized concession of power by the outgoing president, because, they always, at the end of the day, they always say okay, well, here you win, I concede my position to you, but Trump has straight out said no, fuck you, I was robbed. I am the president. I wasn't I ain't conceding anything. Which, well, I mean, obviously that's unprecedented because it's like, well, what the fuck's he gonna do? But then B, it creates a precedent and allows for a narrative where people actually believe that, you know, Donald Trump is in fact the president and that Joe Biden was, like, that's just a lie. So, yeah, it can be bad because it's like, well, you know, what's Trump going to do at the end of his, speaking of, actually, no, this is completely different. I get this one. No game days, no bars. The pandemic is forcing some men to realize they need deeper friendships. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of a loner myself, so I don't really see, or I don't really have like a big issue. I mean, I do get alone occasionally. But I mean, that's more because, like, I'm looking for, like, a relationship, too. And I haven't really been as successful as I want to be in that department. But, you know, I get it. Especially in I was going to say in a time, but really every time. You know, for a person to be able to fully self-actualize is... I mean, it's painstaking work, really, to become, go from, you know, the unconscious to conscious, as they would say. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And it's harder to do without other people. Either to, you know, kind of, like, help you along, or for you to kind of see, like, okay, well, that's not what I should do. You know, a how not to situation. But, yeah, and especially depending on where you live, like, if you're living in the city like I do, you know, you get everything fulfilled by, you know, going out to, you know, social places and events and functions and whatever other gatherings. And, well, that's all gone now. So, a lot of people, especially in the cities, are kind of left at home and left alone to their own devices. You know, they have to deal with their friends or not deal with them or just other people in their life in ways that they aren't used to at all. So, yeah, everything's, it's all fucked. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what they're trying to say. Another one that's completely unrelated. Another article. Astrophysicists. Gamma ray jets exceed the speed of light. Which means that shit'll cut through your spaceship like a hot knife through butter. But, so when they talk about the gamma jets, they're talking about quasars. Which is, well... much like a black hole. I think it is kind of like a... No, a quasar, if I remember right, is what occurs when a black hole collapses and starts to disappear. And what happens is all the matter that it's been holding around itself, and maybe even in some cases that it's swallowed, has been, you know, expelled, and then also, or it's starting to release, but then the whatchamacallit, as it collapses, it basically the black hole will crush in on itself, right? And whatever's left inside has to get squirted out somewhere, and that takes the form of huge gamma ray jets, apparently. And I think that's what a quasar is, if I remember right. I don't know. Again, I'm too high to figure it out. But, ooh. I don't normally read on, but this next article Next sentence is, scientists find that bursts of gamma rays may exceed the speed of light and cause time reversibility. Now, don't get too excited, because the first thing you have to remember is it would take us millions of years to even get close enough to one of these things. So, relax. But yeah, a little bit of science for you guys. I got one more in me that I'm pretty sure I can get through. And this also affects me because this is my home state, home area we're talking about. 1 in every 800 North Dakota residents now dead from COVID. Oh, it's North Dakota, but it's close by. Let's see, what is the population of North Dakota? I might shed some insight into some of this. North Dakota population. This is for the whole state. 762,000 as of 2019. Oh, and there's actually some states that are even less than that. Wyoming is 578,000, or closer to 579. But yeah, so 762,000, 1/8 are dead now. Because this was the 2019 number. So that's let's see. Let's figure that out. 762,000 divided by 8. Okay, that's a really big 95,000 people. Assuming I'm a... Oh, shit. No. I was wrong. Divided by 800. Okay. So that's 952 people. That's a lot different. Yeah, so I guess 952 people have died from COVID. Yes. So that's still a lot. And the thing is with the Dakotas is like they're kind of the one place, well, that in Florida, that just don't have any like mask mandates and no closures or anything like that. So they're really in it. Kind of like I'm really in this edible right now. Damn. But anyways, I don't know. Just hopefully things will get better before they get too much worse. And officially cashed out now. Or whatever. So, thank you for watching another episode of the Jankity Ass Podcast. Tune into Multi-Murdy Media here on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook to get updates to all my shows that are on my network. You can see if you're watching this now on YouTube, just go check out the other playlists that I have on this channel. On the Multi-Murdy Media channel, you'll have my Poncho's Paint Booth. That's my hobby show. Gutsy Ass Gamer. That's my video game show. There's 2 playlists in there now because I've been doing Fallout 4 on survival mode, and I started another playlist because I picked up Mortal Kombat again. Although I'm already kind of don't have time for that, so we'll see. But yeah, and then of course every video version of this episode or this show also on my channel. And then if you want to follow me on Twitch, That's Gutsy A Gamer, because you can't say ass, apparently. You can't use any profanity or, bad language, I guess, in your handle on Twitch. I'm not at the point where I'm actually going to, where I can actually, announce my, or schedule my broadcasts or whatever, because I just do what I want when I want at the moment. So that's Twitch. And then, God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really struggling now. But yeah, and then, of course, find the audio version of this podcast is going to be pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, iTunes, here on the Buzzsprout player, Pandora, Stitcher, a bunch of other ones. But anyways, like I said, thanks for listening, watching, stay tuned, and I will see you guys not next week, but in 2 weeks.